show up, we'll be sitting here alone. I'm all alone. Okay, that's actually looking pretty good. Oh, where are you going? Late dusk. Okay, so this is volume, fog, color. Density. Oh, looks like the same. But we need to add anisotropy. Yes. That's a term everybody knows. Okay, now what is it by default? 02. Okay. I guess that's going to be another property for us to interpolate. Late dusk. And the rest have to be this. God damn, that's a lot of definitions. Okay, we're done. Cool. So now, process. What is this property? Volumetric fog anisotropy. Cool. Let's try that again. Just gonna copy the link. Cool. All right. Evening. Dusk. Late dusk. Interesting. The ground fog has disappeared. That's pretty good. And then night. Nightlight. We don't really have a moon over there. Do have a sky. And then arcade. Night dark. This looks really cool. Night light. Okay, perfect. So, with that little nugget out of the way, there's plenty of more experimentation that we can do, but we got to get going with getting something useful done. Okay, first things first. Oh yeah, we do have this weird artifact with the sky, because the HDR map didn't really map itself quite the way we wanted. Yeah, not when we increase it to twice the size. Okay, we'll deal with that later. So first things first, the general concept. Fake sky. I'm just gonna hide this in the editor, and then in the ready function we'll reveal it. Okay, I don't want this That's extra. We've got to disable that. Visible is true. The way arcade mode will commence is that we're going to have the players, let's say, you know, we're sticking to four player max. Okay, so we would have to have some sort of spawn regions. Man, it is surprising. That little bit of terrain already puts us into an interesting location. We need some sort of spawn location. So the way I'm thinking of handling this is that the players will arrive onto the map through one of four types of entry points. There's one that climbs from a storm drain access hatch. They open the hatch and then get out. So that's a climbing animation. One goes through a service entrance of a tunnel, maybe like a railroad tunnel. Another one would have to maybe it's like slide down some sort of a trail, slide down the side of a hill, and that's how they enter their location. And then the final one, I don't know, we'll have to come up with something interesting. Okay, so how are we going to go about doing this? Well, we have to create some sort of an entry point. First of all, let's start with a hatch. Dimitar has put together some ladders that we can make use of. I'm pretty sure they're already textured too, so that's going to be perfect. That is actually what we were looking at here. Okay, so let's see which one do we want to use. This one with the round handles. And then that's the tip, but it's a bit too extreme. There's got to be, that's ladder 1, this is ladder 2. Oh, actually, there we go. Ladder 2 has the rounded handles. And then there's the bottom of it. And what about the tops? Okay, that might be a bit much for the tops. So is this. So is this. I think I'm actually looking for this, but flipped. So we might just have to do that. Okay. So bottom ladder O2A. And then, oh, that's just the bottom of a ladder. Oh, maybe not. Middle ladder. Okay, that's for the middle part. And then we have bottom, and then we'll just reuse the bottom, but flip it. If, that might not actually work quite well, because we have something here, unless we just do some clever offsetting. Or just flip it upside down. Actually, I could probably do that. Flip it upside down. Although, I don't know if the texturing, there's no texturing here, but I wonder if the texturing might end up being messed up. Okay, well, that's fine. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new scene. This is arcade access point hatch. Now, what's cool about these ladders is that they're grid aligned. So I can, let's say, snap to grid. And then it'll just perfectly fit to one another. Just like that. Okay. Do we have a material for this? Yeah, we do. What is this, ladder 2? That looks like a placeholder. ladder kit. No, that's definitely not it. Fascinating. T ladder kit. And this is material. Huh. I don't know about you, but I don't look right. I guess we'll worry about that later. Let's call it the meat ladder for the time being. That's what that is. It's a meat ladder. Okay. Let's flip this upside down. Because I want the round bit over here. And then we need an access hatch type deal. Okay, I'm going to save this and we're going to quickly export to see what's up. Where do we export? Dreadtail, assets, models. Okay, these would be locations. Arcade access points. Okay, this is hatch. And then I'm going to quickly export this. File, export, OBJ. What's up? What is this? Arcade access point. Dreadtail. Engine. Models. Locations. Arcade access hatch. Okay, so this would be selections only. No material. I think... Actually, no. We know that we're going to have animations here for the hatch opening. So we might as well just, include that there. Let's export as GLB then. Engine. Hatch. This will be Godot like that. What I'm wondering is whether or not there's a way to have the hatch remain in one project, the player hands remain in the other project, but have it so that I could animate both of them, and the animation for the hands is in one Blender project, and the animation for the hatch is in the hatch project. I may or may not have to animate it all in the player. Godot NLA export options. It's basically same thing as, as Godot regular, but instead of storing actions, it stores NLA tracks for the animations. And the difference is that with NLA tracks, you can trim them a little bit. Like if you have a walk loop and you have an issue where, since the first frame and the last frame are exactly the same, there's a teeny tiny pause that you can see in the animation, like a very imperceptible one. You can actually see it in the player animation. I'm going to save this real quick. Locations. Arcade. Access points. Yeah, so if I run this real quick. Okay, so if I'm, let's say, running you can see that there's like very short pause right by the end of the head bob. If the hands were on the screen more, you would see that as well. Yeah, I guess it's much more convincing when you actually see the hands. But that's the thing. Exporting in the late tracks allows you to trim them just a little bit right at the end, which eliminates that last frame being the same as the first frame. Otherwise, you have to do some manual magic, so to speak, to make that work. Okay, cool. So let's double check that hatch. Access hatch GLB. Just checking for dimensions. Okay, so first of all, this needs to be inside out. There we go. Any day now. Unless, oh, there we go. Nice. Perfect. I'm also going to see if I need to start using some sort of markers, alignment markers for the player. Okay, so we're going to climb up this thing. Okay, we don't have to start all the way down. So height-wise and dimensions, this seems to be pretty good. Okay. We have some lights we can use. Oh, man. They still, hold on. Nope, still don't have filtering. Yes, that's what I want to use here. Just gonna double check. Where's that situated? Oh, okay, that's situated exactly where the ladder's at. Right. Which makes sense because that's technically the forward axis, or I should say that right there. So let's make it rotated around the center point. There we go, and then bring that back to the box. Cool. Iron, welcome. I'm gonna apply scale. There we go. Okay, so that's good. Is it inside out? Of course it's inside out. Actually, no, it's not inside out. That's just my eyeballs being weird. Scale on the y-axis. Let's increase the size of that. Cool. Starting off a little slow. That's okay, just gotta get in the zone. Once we're in the zone, there ain't no stopping us. So this is a pretty ginormous light if we're going to be looking at it in perspective. Talk about shader pre-compilation. Unfortunately, it's not really possible. So is that only for consoles then? I see. Well, that's unfortunate. So I suppose what? We're going to have to preload every single shader somewhere in the scene, like a resource preloader. It's usually done is having a scene at the beginning with all the materials. Okay. Seems, well, there isn't there the resource preloader node. Isn't that the purpose of it? Is this hatch meant to be on the ground? Yes. Okay. I'm going to scale this down a bit. It only needs to be that big in the bunkers. Okay. All right. Now, I need to plug in the drive with assets. Where is it? Assets. Yes. Yes. Of course there's a problem. There's always a problem. Every drive in existence always has a problem. Eat my ass. Textures. Okay, so we're looking for brick. Some sort of nasty brick. Brick walls. Oh, look at that. Okay, can I do this here? No, Godot 4 has it. The resource preloader right there. A node used to preload sub-resources inside a scene. So you can do it. The only thing is I don't know if it really works properly. Because if I put a TSCN file into it, it only loads the TSCN file, but not the sub-resource inside of it. So I suppose you have to preload specifically the sub-resources themselves. Damaged brick 6, that looks good. Can use that. Old brick wall 7. That could work. Give me something nasty. Lots of cool stuff. Okay, so I think we'll go with this one. Damaged brick wall 6. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, almost. That's what I want. What I really, really want. Dreadtail. Assets. Textures. Okay. Oh, we have packs already. should move all the other stuff there. Okay, now, how big is this texture? 8K, holy crap. In front view. Okay, so what do we need? Diffuse. Got glossiness instead of... Oh, man. These older texture packs aren't really PBR, Godot PBR friendly, OpenGL PBR. Oh well, we'll work with it. We'll see how it looks like. Maybe we don't need to flip any textures. PNG, no. We could just work with JPEGs. JPG. Yes. And then, yeah, we'll see what the 1K texture looks like. Cool. Now, I'm going to copy this folder name. We're going to return to engine, textures. And then this is packs. This is the export location. Cool. Now, I'm going to copy this because we actually need to unwrap this sucker to work properly with that UV, with that texture. Yeah. Lovely. Okay, apply scale. And then I'm going to hide the UV right in the middle of this thing, or hide the seam. Unwrap. Scale. We're going to scale across the cursor so that we could scale it right to the edge. Okay, and then if we scale it twice, and then scale it twice more, I think it's upside down, rotate 180, then it should be seamless. Okay, that seems like it. And maybe with this thing we can try trim sheets. Never done trim sheets before, but apparently it's a really cool way of handling, let's say, texturing something without going into Substance Painter and making a custom texture for it, and yet being able to do things like corners and stuff. Okay, I think that's looking all right. Access hatch. Mm-hmm. Textures, painted, painted. Packs. Okay. We might want to create a separate material definition preset, which uses these particular naming conventions. Okay. Right. For now, we're just going to create the texture manually. Cylinder. Well, that don't look right. Huh. We did export it to the right place. Engine models, arcade, hatch, access. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't look like the UV map. Okay. There we go. Of course, my material is gone. That's lovely. Hey, nice. Okay, let's go through normal. Instead of decorating stuff in texture, we can overlap some vines and some dirt and grime and all that jazz. Okay, so Grim, welcome. Welcome back. Welcome to City 17. Height, reflection. Which one's which? Glossiness, reflection. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to flip some textures here. Texture looks good as fuck. That's all credit to CG Textures. They're the ones making this magic. Okay, so I forget which one's which. Glossiness is reflections is metallic and glossiness is roughness. Looking nice with normals. Hell yeah. Let's crank it up. Nice. Oh no, the brick is eaten away. Which doesn't look too bad actually. Okay. And it's only 1K. Yeah, well that's because we have texture repetition. I think it's like 4 times the usage. So can't really even see it that much because we have, a light casting pattern breaking shadow. And then of course the meat ladder's taking away all the attention. Okay. Dreadtail's the horror one. Yes, that's right. Okay. Let's get to... Let me double check this. Gloss map versus gloss and specular. Gloss and roughness. Okay. So glossiness is the reverse of roughness. Cool. Let's open a file manager. And I'm gonna open in Krita. Man, I need to renew my Vimeo hosting plan because the content videos are down. Need to do it promptly too. Cool. Invert. Save. We're just gonna keep it called glossiness. We're using a glossiness. Yes. Okay, now I did update it, didn't I? There you go. That's looking much better. Okay. Nice. Now, there is no ambient occlusion, but I think we can actually fake one by quite literally using the glossiness map. I'm just gonna crush some of these values. Okay. And then, as long as I don't save it, I don't need to save it. And then we're just gonna give it a tiny little bit of blur. Just to wash it out a little bit. Okay. File. Export. So this is going to be AO. Okay. That's going to be ambient occlusion. That's the thing with older texture packs. It was before the standardization with PBR workflow. The textures are still good. Just needs a little extra love. Okay. So as long as we don't go too far, that can work. And it looks like it already affects it even if it's at 0, which is curious. But yeah, we're gonna give it just a little bit of darkening. Now, height. This is where we're gonna see some real funky wonky stuff. Height. And then deep parallax. And then the scale. Okay. Yeah, okay, that could work. Is it me or is the height algorithm improved quite a bit? Because I distinctly remember seeing very heavy layering. But this looks downright like vertices are being moved. Damn. That is awesome. And I didn't even see it on the update. Let me ease up on the normals a little bit. Just a touch. They improved it. Looks great. Okay, let's just ease off just a touch. Okay, nice. I mentioned this before, but I was replaying Batman Arkham Knight, and I noticed that the buildings use this type of parallax depth effect to simulate like bricks on the walls. Now, there's a lot of buildings in that game too, so it's really nice to see that we're basically getting the same features that Unreal Engine is getting. Maybe they increase the default? Maybe. I mean, even with 16 layers, this seems pretty dang good. Hold on. 2 layers. Look at it. You can't tell the difference, even with 2 layers. Like, this is nuts. Okay. I don't want to be too close to it, though. Okay. Cool. And what else? So we're going to be climbing up here. Cool. What should we do in this case? Well, we need the actual hatch that can be opened up here. I think we can go for something rectangular. Let's see. We need a reverse of loop tools, where it's square tools. So we can make squares out of loops. Okay, let's do cube. Oh, as long as we're not in the edit mode of this thing. So we're climbing up. That's the opening to the hatch. separate this. Sure? No, not sure. It's got to be here. Get rid of that interface. This interface. Okay, we can't see it from the inside. That's good. Cool. Ah, come on. There we go. So that's going to be the access panel we climb out of. Just like we have a handle on the outside. By the way, we need to merge this. There we go. Flip it. Gonna have one on the inside. And that's the wrong orientation. Got it. It's either this or it's the other one. Either way, let's see. There we go. Nice. Okay, so the handle is not... Actually, I think the handle was in the right place. So we're going to be climbing up like this. So we could move this to the other side, and then the handle's going to be on the left. So we don't bundle up everything on one side. Let's see. Cursor to origin, rotate around cursor, RZ 180, and then RZ 90, the opposite direction. And then we got a bunch of stuff that's inside out. Good. Flip it 180. Yep. Just don't want everything to be on the same side, because I think we're going to open the hatch with the right hand. So if we have the lights on the right hand and the handle on the right hand, and the right hand is the one that's opening, then the left side is just empty. It's nothing. Okay. Any day now. There we go. And then, of course, this would have to be on the other hand. Maybe we'll make one of these flicker. That'll be a nice little addition. Okay, now, is there enough height to actually get to the hatch? Nice. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so the question is, how do we synchronize the views? Because we need to animate both the handle. Just gonna do this real quick. Yeah, we need to animate both the handle and the hand. Whoops. I could place it into the player hand scene for the time being as a temporary prop. So we're climbing up here. Grabbing the handle. And then pushing with our shoulder to open it up. And then we end up over here. Cool. Okay, let's see if we can maybe do something. Let's do this. Let's arm this component here. So we're going to do a single bone. Sure. I think it's fine if we just animate the root bone. We're going to attach, I guess just with armature deform. Does it have the group? No, it does not. Okay. Hatch door. We are going to assign it to the vertex group, assign all of it. So that happens. Okay. That is probably why we should have a root bone. And then from that root, we'll do hatch door. We're going to make it be non-connected. Place it right here. It's okay if it doesn't quite line up. And I think because we renamed the bone, the vertex group would have been renamed as well. Yes. There we go. Okay. Beautiful, except we want rotation around the bounding box. There we go. So that gives us control over the hatch. Now, I'm going to save this a million times. We're going to open up the player. No, not engine. Assets, models, player, hands rig. Beautiful. Okay, so then we'll have, maybe we should do a new collection. So this is environmental props. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's see if we can append. No. I think if we do append, it becomes a local copy. Let's see if we can link. Locations, hatch. What are we linking? Can we do a whole collection? Sure. Okay, now we are going to make it so that the current player location, which is the default location where the player's character body is going to be the final resting pose. And the animation actually starts with them being way down here. It looks like the hatch is on the wrong side. Okay, not a big deal. Let's go back to the hatch, select everything. Oh, okay. Let's make sure that the cursor is in the middle of the world. We rotate around it. Apply scale, apply rotation. Now, go back to the hands rig. Beautiful. So now it's in the right place. Okay, next. I'm going to need some way of aligning the player to the animation. And the way we can do that is by placing a little extra node, a visual node, hopefully. Because this is a GLB file, we can easily disable it within the scene. But let's say, oh, transform around the object. Let's say this is going to be on the right side, which means this is going to be right here. Okay, get back, hands rig. So now we have this thing. And then the player will have to have one as well. So I think I'm going to have to go here. Let's apply rotation, apply scale. Maybe we should do a little shape like this so we know where's the forward direction. Okay, and then copy it. Go back to the player hands rig. We're gonna paste one. Oh, where is it? I saw it. I saw it zoom by. There we go. Okay. And then this little object is going to be made part of the player. So I'm going to take this align, put it into low poly hands, and then animation align. We're going to parent it with automatic weights. Actually, no. Let's do empty weight groups. Okay. Even though technically I don't think it has to be. We don't animate the root bone, so maybe we should make it part of the backbone. Yeah. Or should we actually align the start? We might want to align the start of the animation. Okay, let's do this. So I'm going to take this, which is the back. Take that. And we're going to move it to the back. That's going to be like our body mass alignment node. And we'll just disable it in the game. Cool. And then we'll tell it. What is this bone? Backbone. Just trying to exit. There we go. Interesting. The backbone seems to be the only one that hasn't been given a vertex group, which could mean that it's not a deform bone. That's probably what it is. Okay. Is it? It is not a deform bone, so... Right. Okay, well, I mean, we did connect it. So is it gonna move? Nope. Maybe not unless we assign full weight to it. Nope. Okay. Got it. I got it. Okay. I think that's fine. You know, I could actually make it a deform bone. It's not like we're doing any more weight painting or any more parenting of new objects. I could probably make it a deform. There you go. Look at that. All right, that's fine. Cool. So, with that said, that's the alignment for this, but it's not in the right place. We'll deal with that after. Let's go over here. So this is going to be... Oh, don't want to rename this one. Let's go to idle or reset or whatever the heck. Reset. Nice. Duplicate. Okay, so this is arcade intro hatch. Cool. So we don't animate the root bone with some like this. Which kind of makes me think that if we don't animate the root bone, if the root bone stays in the same place, then we could, hypothetically, align the root bone to some sort of a marker, and then everything would be aligned. Now this would really apply to this animation. Let's do another one. Animation align root. There we go. I don't know if toggling on the deform on the root bone now is going to cause any issues. Hopefully not. Okay, cool. And that means we can use that as an alignment point. Right. Well, that's besides the point. Let's see about getting those hands dirty. Okay. We are not supposed to be able to see these bones. Or this one. Yes. Right. We're missing a vital component here, don't we? We're missing the ladder. Now the ladder was made in Godot, which means we might have to export scene as GLTF. Do assets, models. Sure. We need something for animations. Copyright example 2014 Godot. Got it. Single root, image type, none. Okay. So, environmental props, import, GLTF. Assets exported. Yes. As much as I would like for this to be pixel perfect, I think we'll just have to work with close approximation. Next best thing. I'm glad that it actually exports all the subscenes as well. That's very handy. Okay, now, if the player's facing that way, we might want to optimize the orientation of this to be in the right direction as well. Or like this feature when prototyping. Indeed. Okay, let's do this. So we need to rotate, by the looks of it, everything. Unless, hold on a second. Unless this is just the issue with misalignment. Y is that way, so the ladder has to be that way. Okay, if I go back here, hatch. Technically, Y is that way, so this is correct. It's just that importing it from Godot back to Blender flips it. Oh boy, okay. So technically it is correct. We just need to rotate it here. Except the center point is over there. I am going to select everything, place a cursor in the selection, and then we're going to rotate this around that cursor, which doesn't look like it's in the center. Okay, different point. Select these, place a cursor. There we go. That's more like it. Okay, so now it's facing the right way. And the ladder is in the right place. And everything's good. Set forward direction, if I remember correctly. Not that I see. I think that's in Blender. Oh well, it is what it is. We'll work around it. Okay. Arcade intro hatch. So I'm going to take everything that doesn't move along with us. I think we need to drop it down here. Individual origins, please and thank you. Okay, let's get the overarching motion first. How fast do we want this to be? When climbing a ladder in real life, you should not put your hands on the steps. You should grab the vertical handlebars. Just saying. What are you, working for the OSHA? That's a violation right there. Always 3 point of contact. Okay. That makes sense. I think our hands are more optimized for the vertical grip. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so first I need... OSHA approves of this message. Oh, okay. Okay, let's work in global axis there. How fast do we want them to rise? We might actually even have to start slightly higher. Let's see. So right around here, just by the feel of it, we should already be up here. So we need to start quite a bit higher for that timing to work. Something like this. Which means we're probably not going to need both of those lamps. We'll sort that out later. Should we just start by looking up right away? Okay. If we can't see the hands, there's no point animating them. Beautiful. That's how heads work, right? Biblically correct. Neck. Just going to place a keyframe anytime we reach one of these handles. Also, we need to make sure that we end on the correct handle. Okay, so if we do left, right, left, right, left, right, left, and then the right hand was going to be clear. Perfect. So that's actually good. All right, next. I'm going to place secondary keyframes. Right before I'm going to select those secondary keyframes, and we're going to move them after so that we have that little bit of downwards motion. Okay, as long as we don't start going ballistic with it. So this seems like the right pacing. IK is consistently fighting against me, twisting the upper arm violently. So if you use IK, you have to make sure that the bone that is used as a tip of the IK is not a child of the thing that is the IK. Right? So just a little bit of same struggle that I had to go through, just to give you a quick preview of this. So if you're doing your inverse kinematics, let's say this is your arm, right? And this is your palm, right? And then fingers go through it. So you're not supposed to say, oh, this is what you want to do IK on. So you do inverse kinematics, and you say the target is this, and then you say, let's say this is called the tip or wrist, right? This is called the wrist bone. Okay, so you're not supposed to take the wrist bone and then keep it as a parent of this node. Even if you do, let's say, non-connected, which we can only do in edit mode, like this, you can see that it bugs out. But you're supposed to make that, you're supposed to have like a root bone. Root, apparently, is what that's called. It's going to be a child of root. And then this wrist bone has to be a child of root as well. So then when you move it around, it needs to, let's see, bone, root. Yeah, that should technically be it. We just need to make sure it extends only 2 bones up. There we go. I am root. Yes. So you're supposed to do this. But realistically, something else that I've discovered is that because this bone is now separate, this separation can actually cause glitchiness in the rig. So the real way to do this, or at least the way that I've started doing this right now, that so far doesn't cause any trouble, is I create control bones. So this is going to be the wrist handle. And then this bone doesn't target the wrist, it targets the wrist handle. And then this bone, which is the wrist, we can make it be parent, make it be a child of the bone it used to be connected to, which is bone 1. It is connected, but it is going to copy the transforms, or copy technically just the rotation of this handle bone, because then the bones are still connected, and you can do copy rotation of wrist handle, and then that's it. And then you just hide the wrist and only work with the wrist handle. You haven't had a pull target for the elbow. Oh yeah, no, you definitely need a pull target. So you do an extra bone here, separate it. You got to make sure that it's a part of the root. Otherwise, it's gonna, again, it's gonna wiggle with everything else. And then when you set up your inverse kinematics, what's the name of this bone? Elbow. And then that's it. And then you can control that elbow. Yeah, you always need the pull bones, unless you're working with something super simple. Have a target bone for the wrist. Yeah, so you have like a separate control bone they use for the wrist. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Now, So at some point, we're going to have the camera pan up. It would be nice if the light was in the view for a little bit longer. You can always just move it up. Made an animation where the hand points to the corners of the screen. Made me chuckle, but it worked flawlessly. There's a technical way to do it properly, though. You just set your camera to match the FOV, but you have to make sure that you use vertical sensor size. This is, Steven gave us that little nugget of information, I think. So you set camera sensor fit to vertical, keep it the default settings, and then you set field of view to whatever field of view you're using in Godot. And that should match it perfectly, like 1-to-1. I remember doing something similar, but I made a picture frame, and it only worked close to it. It didn't actually work right. I made a picture frame. It's like a box with a cutout in it that matched the corners in Blender, and then I went to Godot. I exported it, saw how much different it was in Godot, and then compensated it for Blender. It's kind of stupid. There's a few degrees difference for some reason. Is it now? Are you sure you're using field of view and then vertical sensor mode? Okay. That's a bit weird. Uh, oh, right. Okay, so this version of the hatch doesn't quite match. And it doesn't have the armature for us to animate, so we still need to actually use the Blender's version of it for the animation part. Okay, that's fine. Let's just get the climbing animation done. Okay. The funny thing is we don't have to animate the hands after the camera goes up because it's outside of the view. Yes! Perfect. Less work. Okay. Oh man, I had a friend. Well, still have a friend technically. We got together way in high school. Um, he's he and I used to do a lot of recording. He's a skateboarder, still is. He runs his own barber shop out of Hong Kong right now. Um, moved there what quite a few years ago, and we used to do a lot of recording together because he had the whole rapping and skateboarding gig paired together, and they go hand in hand. And yeah, the dude was really talented. I mean, still is pretty talented. But he had to move to Hong Kong because he kind of caught on to the whole Canada going downhill pretty early on. So, he's making bank, doing pretty well for himself, doing all sorts of cool fades for the cool dudes, as I would put it. But we haven't actually seen each other in a very long time, and he got really excited when I said that I'm gonna be moving out of Canada as well, and he's like, "Yo, when we're on the same continent, we're gonna have to hang out," and I'm super excited on that. It would be nice to chill again. Is it me or the wrist twisted? Of course it's twisted. It's always twisted. That's what you do when you're doing game animation. That's why you got the wrist twist compensation bones in place to deal with that sort of stuff. Okay. We'll have to deal with weight painting to fix the clipping through the 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 whatchamacallit, clipping through the coat jacket. When life is better in Hong Kong than it is in Canada. Yeah, that's go figure. You moving to China? No. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna end up in a freaking concentration camp in no time with the way I talk shit about China. Which, I think anybody who's in the West talks shit about China until until your own country starts turning into China. Um, but yeah, I'm moving to Belarus. At least that's the plan right now. Moving back technically, since that's technically where I was born. Back to the motherland, comrade. Oh, Gulag awaits. Ugh, okay. Maybe I should make this reach that before the camera pans out. Okay, that's good. Oh. Well, people in Belarus speak Russian. And Belarusian technically is the first language, but it's kind of like French in Quebec, or French in Canada. Speak English and French. Let me hear something nasty that none of you will understand. Nah, I don't want to exclude anyone. Something I actually do wanna do is brush up on my language. I'm climbing a little bit fast there. Not enough times to establish the grip. Actually, that seems exactly what we are experiencing. Let's just take everything, scale it up a bit. Maybe not that much. Okay. Oh, with the teleporting hands again, come on. Okay, I don't want... Oh, let's keep looking through the camera now. Thinking of learning another language out of curiosity. If there is another language that I would want to learn, I think German might be it. Sounds cool. Despite, you know, Germany kind of going through the same Western issues right now. Okay. I could do that. German in the what community? What is that? Okay. There we go. People speak one or more languages, or three or more languages. Ah, at a high level. Fascinating. Okay. Not... Whoop. Get back. Not too bad. I did learn German, but I hated it. Man, I remember distinctly, back before we moved to Canada, I had to take a third language in the Russian school I went to. And we had a choice between French and German. And I wanted to do German. But my parents insisted that I should do French because we were moving to Canada. And French is the second language in Canada. So I should do French. Um, So I ended up doing French. Didn't really like it. Sounded, I don't know, not as appealing. And in the end, when we arrived to Canada, just adjusting to English was so. It's kind of a, like a culture shock. Um, Adjusting it to was so difficult that the principal, or well, not the principal, but whoever's responsible for like um, student programs decided to just take French classes off of my curriculum because it's like, you know, this kid is having trouble adjusting to English as it is, so there's no need to dump even French on it as well. And I didn't have to do French at all throughout middle school or high school. So yeah, that was for nothing. Sure wish I stayed in German classes. At least I would have done something I enjoyed. French is probably a nightmare compared to German for an English speaker. French has an obnoxious accent. Yeesh. Okay. Probably close that grip before we need to. Okay, maybe we shouldn't let go so soon. Let's get that downwards motion started earlier. Or maybe later. Doesn't feel right. Maybe we just don't do a downwards motion while the camera's panning up. No. Maybe the camera pans too soon. Logic would dictate you probably wouldn't switch your attention while you're in the middle of grabbing the next piece of the ladder. We can see the hand. That's not the right hand. Huh. Interesting. wrist. Oh, that's wrist. Okay, don't have to worry about that. When you climb the ladder, will be a cutscene. Yes, this is just the introduction cutscene. When you start the arcade mode, it is going to start with the player climbing up or entering the level through one of several entry points. Okay. Simple way to make an array go around a circle. Arrays aren't geometric shapes. I don't know what that means. Array go around a circle. What? Am I having a stroke? Did Godot 4.3 introduce a new type of array that I don't know about? You're talking about like looping arrays? So when it reaches the end, it goes to the beginning? Okay. Blender array modifier. Oh! Okay. Got it. Yeah, no, that's simple. You do okay, so you do something like this. Set the object array, turn off relative offset, and then we're gonna do object offset instead. And then you can do an empty. This is gonna be a center point around which the modification will take place. We're gonna select this object, and then we need to make sure that the empty has a proper access point, proper alignment access point, which means I think we have to make this have a center point where this axis is, and then you can do this. And then just do it like that. So you just rotate this point and it adjusts your circular offset. Right? And if you do that point, you know, do whatever it is you need to do. And the other way would be to make a path, but you know, this is better. Then you just working with the one. Paths have their own issues. So yeah, that's the way I do it, at least. If it doesn't work, you have to make sure the center point is in the right location. I think some of those fingers are a little broken. Okay. Let's see about the camera. Your right pinky hurts when you watch this animation. Maybe I should do a slight rotation, but when it goes down, tilts. Maybe that could actually work a little bit better. So this is where it straightens out. And then when it goes down, or should it tilt in the direction? Okay, so higher shoulder means it is upper, so the head should tilt. Yeah, this corner should match the hand. Okay, got it. So didn't apply transform. Yes, the scale of the object and the scale of that pivot point have to match. Okay. So this is where we need to be tilted. Or are we? Mm-hmm. Animation looks good. Once you add camera motion, that obscures some of the uncanny valley stuff. Because when you look at something through your own perspective, there's always motion. There's always even a little bit of motion. So if the camera is just stationary, then you kind of start looking at it like that looks weird. Something is off. But yeah, once you start adding camera jerks and camera motions, it tends to be a bit more forgiving. Okay, so now we need to have him reach. Maybe reach like this. Okay. Good thing the wrist is just standing by itself, so you can move it independently. Ooh, that handle is a lot further than I thought. Jeez. All right. A fully stretched out hand, still can't reach it. Then again, we did kind of willy-nilly guess the proportions. Although, this is where we might have to do a little bit of fakery. A little bit of smoke and mirrors. We might have to move the shoulder forward a bit, you know, while it is still within perspective. So, yeah, a lot of this stuff is quite literally just smoke and mirrors. What is this? That's the root bone. We don't touch that. Where's my shoulder? There's my shoulder. We left the shoulder behind. Just gonna move that up there. All right, so now that should be good. Maybe one day we'll be able to do full-on 3D character animations. Working towards that. Okay, so what I'm thinking of doing here is moving it so that the elbow can actually touch like this. We can prop the elbow up against the door. That means we can't have the camera be too far away. Just gonna borrow this. Actually, I am not selecting all the bones. I think the fingers are too separated. Luckily, we can move them around if we need to. It's a one broken pinky. Dang. Okay. Hmm. I think we would want to have the wrist assume a pose like this. Since you're trying to maximize the surface area with a forearm. Okay. pause. And then we lower ourselves. Thrust forward. It's a very slow thrust. And a very long pause too. Maybe we don't need to pause then. Just give some motion to the fingers so they're not ready at the mark with the pose already in place. Okay. So that right there seems to be pretty good. And now the tricky part. We need to open the door and and the hand at the same time. Now, are we or are we not able to enter the animation mode for two armatures at the same time? Okay, it looks like this collection is locked. Uh-huh. Okay, so that would be us linking, was it? We can't access the individual components like armatures here. Weird. Okay, I'll just keep that there for the time being. If we do append collection, that appends it like this. And we can see the armature. So maybe that's what we should be doing instead. Okay. There we go. There we go. And is this actually lined up? Seems a little weird. What the? Is that the collection? No. Arcade access point hatch. That's the imported one. Okay, that's a little weird. You can't actually even disable the visibility of this. All right. Away with you. Unless we imported it somewhere weird. No, it's in here. Hmm. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where the heck this thing come from. Really? Hiding a linked resource does not hide its children, like it does with collections. Okay. All right. If you say so. What's the armature, though? No, I think that's... No, that's the imported one. Okay. Which we can't disable. What the heck? Okay. Let's assume this is already perfectly linked up. Delete that. We don't have the ladder, but that is what that is. Okay, so now I can select the armature. We could say arcade intro hatch. This is going to have the same animation. Now moment of truth. Okay. Arcade intro hatch. So it will have its own unique animation name. But... Oh. Okay, are we able to keep them in two separate animations? No. Wait, why is that so offset? Probably because I never recorded the position of the rest frame. Also, we got all this unnecessary crap here. Okay, reset. And now we got this. All right. That actually doesn't seem right. Why is that located here? Reset. Okay, I'm gonna save real quick before we sodomize this even further. this is supposed to be located in the 0, 0 coordinate, which it is, according to itself. Oh, that's not... Dang it, that's not the right bone. This is the right bone. Okay, head X. Okay, we didn't move this by any chance, did we? Because it seems like we might have. We don't want to do that. This needs to stay where it is. You know, for good measure, I'm actually going to record location rotation for the rest bone in the reset animation so we can return to that anytime. Now, all of this extra stuff we're going to get rid of. Arcade intro hatch. Aha. We got object transforms here. That should never be the case. That's why we got to be careful when we're messing around with auto keyframe. Okay, so what does that keep returning here? That's not quite aligned. Oh, let me try this. If we have enough steps, let's see if I can roll back. Roll back until before I deleted the, there we go. Okay, so we're good here. I'm gonna save this, keep that there. We have the access hatch. And this is the old one. No, it has the armature exposed. Okay. Cool. So when we deal with this armature, arcade hatch, we're going to protect it. Okay. And then here, it might be actually a good idea to just record the location of the root bone right there. Just in case. Okay, then we go over here. So that right there is when the opening animation should take place. Okay. So this has its own armature action, which we're going to call arcade intro hatch open. Let's do it like this. Hatch arcade intro. Now, this one is in arcade intro hatch. This one is hatch arcade intro. Can we edit both of them at the same time? I doubt it. I think it's going to do exactly what we did last time, which is balls it up. Pose mode. Let's take this bone, that bone, location rotation. This one doesn't have any keyframes by the looks of it. But I think that's because we're working with an active one. And then let's go over here. We're going to make sure this bone is the active one. And we're going to make sure the transforms happen around the active element. And we'll do R, Y. Oh, okay. So we'll open the hatch all the way. Okay, we can't hide the imported one for some reason. I don't know why. It is being stupid. Unless I can put it into a collection. And hide that collection. No. Not even that. We can't even have as little as that. Can't hide it, can make it invisible. That stinks of a bug to me, as a matter of fact. That seems a little weird. Yeah, look at that. It's just sitting there. Actually, hold on. We got this crap here. What is this? Is this for the collection? Might be. Maybe it. Oh, that's a lot of stuff. There we go. Okay, good. So it is possible. I'm just an idiot. I didn't open it up correctly. Okay, so that, however, is a bit of a problem because it recorded the motion, but because the bones are in two relative places, it wouldn't really record it in the right place. I really don't want to be doing yet another remote transform or child of constraint, because you got a lot of them, and then it's going to start being problematic. Okay, let's just focus on this for now. Now this won't be perfect, specifically because alignment and difference in animation are not going to let us make it be perfect. And in the end, we might just have to do child of constraint. Yeah, I think it might be inevitable. We have to do child of constraint here. Okay, fair enough. Let's achieve this by going to hatch. Okay, we're gonna attach a empty. We're gonna make it a child of the lid of the hatch. So, yeah, okay, yeah, that wouldn't work. Because technically when we animate the hatch, if we're moving the hatch itself, it works. But because we're animating through a armature, a bone, it won't work because the bones don't move objects, they move vertices. So, fair enough. Okay, so I suppose we would have to make this be a part. Let me just clear transforms, clear constraints. I think this would have to have child of constraint of the armature, hatch door, clear inverse, or set inverse. There we go. So now, there we go. Rotating the door rotates that little access point. Cool. Well, let's get back to the hands rig. Right. Problem is the hands rig won't update because we've linked the contents. Okay. This is kind of the problem that I don't have a solution for. Is every single thing that needs to interact with the player gonna have to be located in the project of the player hands? I might have to ask on the Blender project, a Blender forum or subreddit or whatever. Okay, well, if that can't be done, at least for the time being, why don't we see about making it work in the same fashion, except we do it here. Yes. Plane axis. This might be an unnecessary extra step. We could make the hand be a child of the bone and set the transforms right away. Yeah, we could. Let's just stick to this. Door hatch, set inverse. Okay, good. So now, just double checking. When the hatch opens, that point is there. Good. Okay, so now we go here. We're going to add a bone constraint. Child of. This point is empty. Which we should probably give it a proper name. Hatch, handle, empty. Okay. looks like the inverse has already been set. So we need to get rid of any keyframes that go after this. Okay. When the hatch opens, you can see the hand is perfectly matched with the handle. Okay, we just need to make the handle open a little bit less violently. Okay, that's fine. And then we just need to compensate for the body going in too quickly. Kind of like this. And then we need to prevent that from happening. Hmm. Wait, does it just fly away or something? Oh, it does, because we used to have other frames there. Okay, well, we don't need to follow through with it. Eventually, the body needs to settle. And it needs to settle, it's just clear transforms. That's where it needs to settle. The camera will need to settle as well. That's not the camera. This is the camera. There we go. Not bad. Make the hand let go of the handle past a certain point. Yes. Although it's out of the camera shot by, well, a very quick margin. We just need to prevent the stretching here. We could have it use the back of the forearm to keep pushing it open. Let's say by this point, We can see the inside of the shoulder appear in the frame for a split second there. That's not really good. Also, we got to be careful with not having the hand travel too far away from the camera. So I think we can probably do something like this. Okay. If it's not for that one clipping finger, that could technically work. Maybe make the hand twist and have the palm against it. I think we don't have enough frames for that. That's like severely slow it down. Excuse me. Another problem we have to be very careful about is keeping this influencer on at all times. Because otherwise it's going to propagate to other animations. That's not really good. Okay, so we're going to go from here. And then set this to 0. And you can see how the arm teleports to that location. So we probably want to undo the influence when the hand is out of camera shot. Maybe even as a bonus, have the hand on this ledge. We're not going to question the logistics of it. Okay. Let's stay over here. The camera is really far away from here. Hopefully that's not too distorted. It looks a little off. Wow, that shoulder is really high. Damn. Good old ear shoulder. Okay. Mr. Fantastic. And then we can also see the edge of the shoulder. That's lovely. Okay, we're gonna have to do some camera fakery here. So by this point, the camera should be like right here. Okay, that could work. Maybe get that shoulder bone that we forgot all the way down here. It was left behind. Yeesh, where are you going? Get back down here. Okay, that could, I think, work. Now, what is this object? This object, animation align root. That is not where the animation align root's supposed to be in. Interesting. Root. Our root bone is deformed, so it should be in the right place. So why is this all the way up here? That's weird. No point in moving it. It's supposed to be exactly where this is, which is 0. Oh, we have a keyframe. Don't need keyframes here, but we do have a keyframe somewhere. That's not good. Object transforms, go away, stay there. Okay, I'm not a fan of this. This looks goofy as all hell. Shoulder. Oh, good thing we gave a bevel to this little edge, because makes the thumb sit right nicely on this edge. Cool. Beautiful. Okay, the hand phases through the door a little bit there. Oh. Okay, and then fix up this shoulder being within view. Mm-hmm. The player dropped his shoes down the hatch. Good thing I didn't do the full body model. Jeez, I don't think you can be as flexible with stuff like this in full body. If you've ever seen some behind the scenes animations of like Pixar or Disney movies, the 3D ones, there is some very weird anatomy going on with hands, and especially when you need to do things in perspective. Like, hold on, let's see. Oh, jeez. Yeah, stuff like this. Oh, I don't want to open the article. I want to open the image. Right? Or or even better. Here's the image I was thinking about. And then, it's supposed to give you this shot right here. Beautiful. Doc, you idiot. There we go. Right? Ah, looks beautiful. So pretty. So, you kind of have to go through some very weird things. You should see what the animators did for God of War with Atreus. There's some cutscenes where Atreus like teleporting and mangling himself into an ungodly abomination, only to restore himself into proper order right before the camera pans onto him. So you don't really waste animating stuff that's out of camera shot. Okay. Now, we could probably put more work into this, but I think as a starting point, this is okay. I want to record everything as it is, and then layer transforms. Okay. Need a reference point to make the camera move when outside the hatch. Well, it's just returning to its default pose. Cool. Maybe the climbing animation could have been a little bit faster. Right. Not bad. Yeah, this will work out. Now, the important point is that we need to have some frame of reference where to align these things. Now, we know that we're going to have this object, which is perfect. This object is going to be a part of the player, animation align root. Okay. So this object, which has the same purpose, needs to align here. Selection to cursor, cursor to selection. Right here. Okay. And then where is it located? It's located here. Perfect. Okay. Cool. Well, all we have to do now... damn it, I should never disable the collection, because every time you enable it, it also re-enables everything else inside. Don't want to do that. Okay, so we're left with this. Can I just copy this and then move back to the hatch? Careful with the auto keyer. I think I might have had it disabled. Auto keyer also doesn't capture visibility property being enabled and disabled, as far as I know. Guess that's collection. Let's make a new one. Paste it in. Realistically, we can make this work. I don't need to paste it in, but I do need to position this thing in the correct place. This seems to be perfectly centered. No, I had the odd keyer enabled. Okay. I mean, technically I can just eyeball the animations. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. I can eyeball the animations being in the right place. Okay. One particular idea that I have is to take this object, make it a parent of this object, which means we now have the transforms. No, we don't. Location. Is this global? This might be global. Delta transforms, also not a thing. Yes, I did animate the child of constraint to not be on at this at all times, because if it is on at all times, it's gonna affect other things. It's gonna affect other animations, to be more precise. This is the bone that's being animated, and then you can see we have influence going down to 0. So right before we grab it, goes to 1, and right when we release it, goes to 0. I might want to place a 0 right at the beginning of the animation, just for good measure. Okay, cool. Now, I need to get this marker thing up and running. So let's hide player hands for a sec. And I guess the armature. Low poly hands. I should probably move that there. There we go. So everything is bundled together. Cool. All right. Here we have this object. We need to know what is its relative position to its parent. Now, curiously enough, when we made it be the parent of this object, its location just stayed the same. 0, 0, 0. Even the delta one is 0, 0, 0. Now, that's not very useful. Not at all. I could do this. Okay, this is getting into the jank territory. I copy both of these things. I go back to the hatch. I paste. Yes, I paste. Now, because I copy pasted, the parent is still the same. Then take this object, cursor to selected, this selection to cursor. Cool. That is, I don't need that. I do need this piece. And then I can unparent. Oh, Alt P, unparent, but I need to keep transform. And then delete this cube, since it's not a native one. Align. And there we go. So now that is a part of the hatch. It's floating. Is it floating in here? It is, yes. Okay, so we don't need this here in this case. And that's it. So, hatch. Export. Yeah, export GLTF. We need to go to engine, models, locations. Okay, and this is going to be... We don't have the animation, though. That's a bit of a problem. How do I transfer the animation? Doesn't Godot allow us to have animations as separate files? Can we not just import an animation? How do we export an animation only? Here's a question. Any day now, Godot. I did that for sublunars. I don't remember exporting the animation separately. I remember saving it so I can store keyframes into it. But I kind of assumed it meant decoupling animations. I mean, I guess if you save it as a file from one and then you load it from the other, that would work. We just don't know how to extract animations only as of yet. Okay. Dang it. Ah, come on. Dope sheet action editor. There's no actions here. Okay, so let's get back here, hands rig. We're going to select armature, animations, hatch, open. Can I copy it? And then go over here and then paste it in here. Oh, no. Hmm. One data block pasted. Oh, it did work. Cool. I just need to go here and protect it. Oh. But that's not what I want. God damn it. Okay. I think we need to not have a keyframe on the root bone. Okay, don't save. You. Pose mode. Don't. Thank you. Okay, so whatever the root bone is, that's where it's going to be. Now, copy. This might be redundant, to be honest, because we still have the object in the player hands. Paste. Okay. Yeah, there we go. The animation is there. We just have to launch it at the same time. Okay. Cool. Little bits and pieces, but we are figuring it out. Okay, we don't need that. Oh, that's what it did. It copied the armature. It copied the armature, which caused the drop-down list to also populate the animations from that armature, which is exactly the same way you would copy animations if you had like a rigged character and the animations are spread across multiple objects and you want to conjoin that one into one project. You actually have to copy the whole armature so that it copies the animation data with it. So you can't just like right click and copy paste only the animation data. Should be an option, but you know, at least we have some way of doing it. Oh well, okay. So export engine models. Locations. Oh, back up. Here we go. And we'll just export regular Godot preset. Cool. Well, that's for the hatch. And then we do hands rig. We have to disable environmental props, enable just the hands. We'll export with this thing and we'll just disable it. Disable it after. Hatch. Might want to get rid of all these extra pieces. Okay, now this animation doesn't belong here. We have our own called arcade intro hatch. There we go. All right, before we do all this, let's clean up house. Cube 001 action is located in the cube 001. Ah, yep. Okay, be gone. Can I just do it? No. Is that going to delete the whole node? It is. It's kind of a shame. Can't delete it from here. All right. Select the cube. I shouldn't be in pose mode for this. Hey, nice. Okay, at least it selects the animation for us. Get rid of the frame. Or I think I can just do this. All right. Align action is inside of the nm align node. Gosh darn auto keyframer. What is this? This is, oh, that one belongs inside of our body, so we don't need to keyframe there at all. Arcade access point hatch action. Arcade underscore access point. Huh. Interesting. Might already be queued for deletion. Body action. What the heck? Items, props, cabinet, no exp. What? Why is this here? Oh, this is the prying. Okay. Prying animation. Don't know how that happened, but okay. Cube 002. Yeah. Whoops. I think that's when we moved everything down. Just gonna have to keep an eye out in the future. Cylinder. It's got the keyframe all in the same place. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what caused it. Disable. Just for good measure. I don't want to be deleting some animations while re-enabling others. We do need this one, but we know that that one belongs here, so I guess we'll just call it external hatch. Temporary, something like that. Oh, that actually pretty much deals with almost all of them except for that one. Control Shift O. And then we have this one. Ah, okay, I think that's somewhere in the NLA editor by the looks of it. Okay. Jeez. Yep. Okay. Oh, that's not stashed. This is actually active. Okay. Arcade access point, hatch. Which object is that? Arcade intro hatch. Well, that's weird. We got a magical unicorn object that's like, I exist, but I don't. Have fun finding me, jackass. Arcade intro hatch. That just has been pushed. It looks like we got more or less lucky enough not to have pushed anything in here. More or less. Okay. Just gonna open that up. Yeah, it's just... Who is hogging up this animation? Arcade access point hatch action. Is it the imported one? I Might be something from the imported object. Like this one. Yeah. Arcade access point hatch. Don't need that. Who is the... yeah, this was the one imported from Godot. Unless, no, isn't that the actual animation? What is this called? Arcade intro hatch, and then we have hatch arcade intro. Hand test. What the heck? Huh? It's the one from Godot, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. Just trying to make sure I don't delete stuff I'm not supposed to delete. Wouldn't want that. Okay, I know that we protected it. Arcade intro hatch. I don't see the other one. Oh, temp hatch arcade intro. Yeah, it's right there. Okay, that's fine. So let's just access this one. That's a lot of cleanup work for one animation. And then get rid of that. There we go. Control Shift O. Bam. Clean as a whistle. Clean as a baby's tax income documents. There we go. So now that we've done that, let's go set this to reset. Get your ass up here. Reset doesn't seem to have all the keyframes or all the bones reset. So let's do this. Before we do that, bring the animation to the beginning. Oh, it does have everything up here. Cool. Nice. Alrighty. Sometimes Blender is like, I don't wanna update the animations. The animations. Engine. Models. Player. Hands rig. I don't think we're working with Analase yet. Because none of this has names in it. I'm pretty sure it would use the names of the tracks as the names of the animations. So yeah, I think we're still working with regular Godot animations. Regular preset. Okay. Watch us corrupt everything. Whoops. Okay, we really need to learn to dissect the live streams into 1 hour increments. Taking its sweet time as usual, I see. Nothing new there. There we go. All right. So now should update this object. We should see a little alignment object sitting there. The 1 hour bits is not my style. It's, well, remember, everything I'm streaming, I'm also recording. That does not seem to be on the right side. Why is that over there? Son of a gun. Why is that over there? God damn it. Okay. Fine, we'll just align it by eye. Whatever, man. Yeah. Everything that I stream gets recorded, and when you go into the website and you see a 4-hour recording, it's like, ugh, man, that doesn't sound like fun. So I try to, well, I'm not even trying at this point, breaking it apart into smaller chunks. Oh, well, some of the stuff is not even aligned at all. Is this correct? I think that's correct. No. Why would that be correct? The handle has to be on the left side. Okay, which means this is here. Uh-huh. How the hell did this happen? Did we not move the ladder to the right location? And I'm pretty sure we can still align it just fine. But I'm just confused as to what I did here. Okay. Handle, ladder, lights. And this was imported from Godot too. And maybe that was my mistake. Because if I did that, it would have flipped the object. Dang it! Whose idea was it to use Y as up in Godot? Come on. Seriously? Alright. Node 3D. We're gonna try to keep this as aligned as possible. Hey guys, you know what would be fun? Let's use let's use Y up. Okay, so how can we align this to the center? Do I have some sort of a center-bound object here? Why isn't this whole thing in the center? Okay, that's gonna make it easier. Yeah, whatever. We've already ballsed it up. We're just gonna have to align it by hand. Oh well. Okay, you are supposed to be on the other side. So 80. That is anything but 180. 90. 180. Now it's correct. You started design with the ladder. Yeah. These are hypotheticals. Okay, where are the lights? Light. Okay, which means this is now in the correct location. So we can use this to align the player. It's just the ladder was in the wrong place. Okay. Cool. All because I wanted to reuse the ladder that was already in the project files. Okay, that's cool. Let's double check. Armature. We have the open. Yes, we do. Okay. And with that said, let's see if we can get this into the arcade mode. Close all tabs. Mm-hmm. Steven, welcome to the party. All right, I am going to just kind of position it anywhere. Let's do hatch, access hatch. Okay, I guess we can't drag and drop stuff anymore. We were too good to that as well. Come on. Okay, there we go. Is it like loading and unloading the material or something? I try to drag it. It needs to load it the five map texture material, and then I drag it away, and Godot's like, well, there's no users of this material. I'm just gonna clear it from the memory. Okay. I feel like for optimization of the workflow, they should just let it import the mesh, and then import the materials in a separate thread. And whenever that's done, that's when it's done. Okay. Okay, this looks like graphics from the 90s. You know, when you just get your hands on 3D software. Lights everywhere, blue, red. Yeah, let's do everything. Welcome to the mist. Okay. So, how do we do this? Let's get the player. Light transform to view. There's the alignment object. That's perfect. I'm just gonna do this by hand. Doesn't have to be super perfect. As close as possible is just fine. Nice. I think the sensitivity for when you're holding shift and moving these values has improved greatly. All right. That works. What's next? We need to play both the animations at the same time. There's an option to do holes in terrain, I believe. Yes, they've added that in the last update, so that's really good. Should we place this code into the scene? Technically, it is unique to the scene. Scripts. What is this? Locations. Level building. Somewhere. Generic utility. Scripted events? Sure. All right. So first we need to access the access hatch, specifically the animation within the access hatch. It's a one-time thing, so I think we can just hard code it. Copy node path. Okay, in the arcade mode, in the ready function, we'll talk to this node. Get node. Access hatch animation player. We gotta play. Oh, okay, it's a little dumb. Doesn't know the animations. We're gonna have to fetch it ourselves. Can't rename it. Thank you. Used to rely on that to get the name of the animation. Can't do that anymore. Lovely. Hatch arcade intro. Cool. Next, we need to talk to the player. And we need to tell the player, first of all, we need to make sure the player doesn't fall under gravity or cannot move, which we can establish a separate state for that. The gravity is still going to affect them though. So we need to have some sort of a state that's just like an all-encompassing disable everything state. Okay, scripted event. Let me take a look at the move and slide. Okay, so there's only one of them. And this is locked in physical interaction. We have that variable, or state not equals to locked in interaction. Huh. Okay, so we have two things we can work with here, either a variable or a state. Take your pick. We don't need to keep running this every time. Joys of the porting process. Just gonna paste that in. Right. This state, it looks like it also returns interface and velocity. This is where we clear the velocity, probably just for good measure. Okay, so it doesn't look like this has any other purposes other than to just literally stop the player from falling under gravity or doing anything to the controls. Sounds good. We can just put the player into that state. Okay. It's a little janky, I know. We'll make it more standardized afterwards. I just want to see if the animations line up. And what else? We need to tell it to play the animation. We know that we have a variable containing a reference to the player, animation player. I sure hope that the player who is a child of the scene gets to run its ready function first. FPS animation player, there we go. And then what animation do we want to play? It is called... Ah, shit. We're gonna have to find it here. Arcade intro hatch. Mm-hmm. Well... Oh, okay, so the alignment's off a little bit. It is playing it, though. Yes, okay, both of them are playing. Cool, so we just need to fix up the alignment. Now, why, oh why, did the alignment not work here? Right, because the ladder had to be rotated and moved. Ugh. Right, okay. So, I guess that's going to be a rule then. We cannot export objects from Godot and then import it into Blender because it flips them. Or does something weird to them. That's unfortunate. Okay. Fair enough. In case we're going to align it the good old-fashioned way. I'm just going to go here. Editable children. Animation player. Get to the point where... Oh, there he is. Okay. What the? That seems to be aligned. Hold on a sec. Okay, so the ladder doesn't seem to be aligned. Maybe the player fell for just a single frame in the physics process, and that caused them to be misaligned. That could always be the case. All right, let's see if we can just eyeball this. Yeah, that's right. Of course, the player's going to play the reset animation. Okay, yeah, that seems about right. And then they grab the hatch. And that would play that animation. Okay, so maybe what I can do is expose the state variable. Copy locked in interaction. And then here in the player, we're just going to place them into locked in interaction state. Let's see. What the shit? Maybe the hands are being rendered in F. Yeah, I think that might be the case. The hands are being rendered in FPS view instead of the world view, game view. So we have a function for that. FPS something something. Hands set in-game view. So we just need to run this function, which is going to force the hands to be rendered in the game view, where everything lines up with the world. Which means we have to remember to also make it switch back. Hey, look at that. Everything lines up. Climb that meat ladder, boy. Okay, I saw a little glitch there. Okay, cool. Cool. What else can we do here? Let's open up the player for a sec. We are going to disable anim align. This is for aligning animations using the backbone. And then we're also going to do the same thing with root animation align. I'll need to consult Dimitar for what's happening with the meat ladder. The texture doesn't quite line up. That looks, yeah, looks pretty good. I should add vignette like I add to every single game. Also, I need to go through the wrists and fix up the wrist twist in relevant locations. I see the hand bug out a little bit. And also, I think it crosses the camera just by a touch there. What can we do here? Well, again, this hatch. We know this hatch is only going to be present here in the arcade mode. Yes. We could reuse it for, I don't know, climbing out of one of the bunker chunks, but maybe giving arcade mode unique content might be a good idea. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a signal. Okay. Let's do func intro and finished. Ooh, finished. We're gonna forward or receive the animation name. We are going to get the node, connect a signal. Just kind of running from memory here. And the function that we're going to connect it to is this one. I think we provide a callable. We also spell connect correct. Connect. Ah, yes. Good old connect. Callable. Beautiful. Finished intro and finished plays this animation. So it doesn't really matter which animation it is. All we have to do is tell the player to go into the state of generic or general. Which one is it? General. Okay. So state becomes general, and then we also need to tell the player to display hands in their FPS view now. FPS view. So we just run this function. Player, do this. So technically, as of that point, we should see us fall down because there's no collisions on the hatch. Okay, we're at 4-hour mark. I think we need to wrap up and take a break. Can't feel my ass anymore. Also fix up the fingers. They kind of face through the ladder. You can't even see that unless you're specifically looking for it. But yeah. Nice. There we go. And then we can say bye-bye to the big thing we just crawled out of and GTFO. Okay, cool. There's stuff to fix. We'll fix it in the next one. I need to take a break. Cool. Okay, that took a little bit longer than I expected, but we were also figuring out a lot of stuff. So, that should be good. Cool beans. All right. Thanks, fellas. We'll be back soon later today. Appreciate the company.